Hi everyone, you're watching the Virtual Amicus and I'm Jay Lodha. So today's topic for discussion would be on cyber laws, basics and practice area. And just to give you all a brief introduction about a topic for today's session, cyber laws is important because it touches almost all aspects of transactions, activities that are involving on the internet, the World Wide Web, cyberspace, etc. So we can call it broadly a branch of law that deals with legal issues related to user of inter-network information technology. Now, there has been a growing need of cyber laws in the country because almost all transactions have gone e-business, e-commerce, e-governance, and etc. Even the share transaction, for that matter, have been taking place in DMAT form, especially in the COVID era that we are in. Now, with the growing technology that we've seen and witnessed, there have been an escalation when you talk about cyber crimes such as online banking frauds, share trading frauds, credit card frauds, tax evasion, hacking, pornography, etc., and etc. So there was a requirement of a codified law that would govern cyber crimes in India. Now, majorly, we have two broad legislations, one of them being Information Technology Act of 2000, the other being the Indian Penal Code. Now, the question here is, what are the remedies that are available to someone who's been a victim, someone who suffered on account of a cyber crime, and where does one go, which forum to approach? Now, today, for this very special session, we are joined by India's one of most respected, distinguished lawyers in the field of cyber laws. She's a pioneer in cyber laws. She's an international cyber law expert. Today, we are joined by Ms. Puneet Bhasin, ma'am, who is also privacy, data protection, GDPR expert. She specializes in cyber crimes. She's been a TEDx speaker. And just to give you all a brief introduction about our amicus for today's session, Ms. Bhasin is a pioneer in cyber laws in India and has been awarded the best cyber law lawyer in India. She's an advisor to the Rajya Sabha committees on internet laws and has been a recipient of 5 national awards for contribution in the field of cyber laws. The recent one being that of the best cyber law in India from Sri Ram Jetmalani, noted jurist himself. She's presented as an expert in cyber laws before amendments to the Information Technology Act, drafting new legislations, Rajya Sabha Committee on Online Pornography Regulation in India, etc. and etc. She's also a well-known author in cyber laws, and her articles have been published routinely in newspapers, online portals, in various digital updates in digital crimes, private space. She's also featured on leading news channels like BBC, CNBC, Z News, etc. She launched CyberJure Academy into 2018 to develop industry skills sets in EU GDPR compliance, cyber law investigation, cybercrime investigation, I beg your pardon, data protection compliances, and till date has trained over 400 CXOs and professionals. He's also mentored to over 400 aspiring professionals and law students all over the globe whom she guides. So the list goes on and on. This achievement list is huge, so we had to cut it short. But anyways, thank you so much, ma'am, for taking out time from your busy schedule on a busy working day, Monday. It really means a lot to the entire team at the Virtual Amicus. Anything that you wish to say before we start with our session?
Glad to be a part of this session and definitely looking forward to chatting with you here.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So the stage is set, ma'am. The floor is all yours. Over to you.
Well, with respect to cyber laws, again, the opportunities in this space and the kind of offenses have absolutely grown. As again, Mr. Jai was mentioning that you have the Information Technology Act, which is the main, you could say, backbone, read with the Indian Penal Code, but a large number of offenses today, almost all physical mainstream crimes are today digital crimes. So for example, you had physical stalking at one point of time. Today you have digital stalking. You had outraging a modesty of a woman in a physical sense happening. And today the entire thing happens in the form of different forms of bullying and harassment over the internet. So every physical crime today has its digital version. The same thing happens for theft. Today, in the old times, you had pickpockets and you had people committing thefts, breaking into homes. And, there's a drastic decline in the number of these cases. The decline in the number of these cases is not indicative of social development or that, criminality has reduced. But the nature of crimes have changed and new avenues for the same have opened up. So you have wallet frauds, digital wallet frauds. You have online banking fraud. So the same crimes which were existing on the physical plane have gone virtual today. Now, obviously, the laws governing this entire space are the Information Technology Act read with the Indian Penal Code. And the forums for the same are the adjudicating officers court, which is operational in every state. And apart from that, in case of appeals, the matters go to the High Court only in certain situations wherein the value is really high and there is a bifurcation of the pecuniary jurisdiction, especially for compensation cases. So up to 5 crores, it's with the adjudicating officer, and above that, you are going to go to the High Court. But from the adjudicating officer's court, the appeal lies to the CYBAT, which is Cyber Appellate Tribunals. If you're not satisfied with the order of the adjudicating officer, you will have to appeal to the Cyber Appellate Tribunal. And from there, finally, an appeal lies to the Supreme Court. So that's exactly where the chain of, you could say, litigation follows. And with respect to users, now, obviously, when we say that these crimes are on the rise, it's largely due to a digital penetration that has increased and digital usage that has increased. So a combination of these two has led to these crimes increasing. And today, it's a part of almost, I would say, everybody's life. And there is rarely any person who is not a victim of some or the other form of cybercrime. So whether it may be bullying, whether it may be defamation, whether it may be banking fraud, something or the other that would have happened sometime or the other. So these things are any which case there, which we all are facing. With respect to what Jay was mentioning about career opportunities, with respect to young law students, there is abundant opportunity, but never really take up a career thinking that because it's a growing field is why you would be able to make a better career in it. You need to see where your aptitude lies. You need to see where you have the acumen. I'll give you a simple example, which I have given in my previous talks too, that if you were in school and there are 10 subjects you were studying, there is this one particular subject always that you're really good in. You're going to score well. You're going to stand out from the others in that one subject. The same things comes for your career. Choose that one field, the one specialization that you are actually standing out in, and you're bound to make a mark. Just don't go with the thought process that, oh, this is a growing field or that there is abundant opportunity in it is why I should enter that field. Never do that. That's the biggest mistake. Take up a field purely on the perspective that there is opportunity for you to grow and you to excel in that field. By meaning you have the aptitude already for that field, you are good at it, and there you're growing and excelling in that. So these are few things that I would want to you to keep in mind. And over to you back, Jay. Anything that you would want to add or ask me?
Thank you so much there. Anything with respect to, although the matter, the controversy is pending before the Honorable Supreme Court, but anything that you wish to say or throw light on the Pegasus controversy that we've seen recently?
No, actually, I wouldn't want to comment on that, especially because it is pending before the court. It's better that I refrain from passing any comments on this subject.
All right, ma'am. I just have one question. In fact,
so comment on that.
No, absolutely. I appreciate that, ma'am, because when the matter is pending, it is better not to comment on other platforms. I totally respect that. Ma'am, just two quick questions. If you have the time, ma'am, another 5-10 minutes.
Yes.
So one quick question with respect to credit card for frauds and online banking frauds. Now, what does one do? Does he register an online FIR or does he file a complaint physically in the appropriate magistrate court? How does one react? Because there's so much of panic that has already taken place.
See, you need to approach the local police station of your jurisdiction, which will mean your residential jurisdiction. You will have to go about approaching the local police station and register an FIR. You also have to file a complaint with the bank with a copy of the FIR, which every bank is going to ask you, FIR plus a physical complaint copy that you will have to file with the bank. Based on that, they will take your matter forward. And if they do not take any action, you can approach the banking ombudsman. And in the case the bank has in any way failed to protect your data, which has led to a cybercrime. So everywhere the bank is not responsible. In the event the bank is concretely responsible, you have an option of approaching the adjudicating officer also seeking compensation.
Thank you so much there, ma'am. Next question. As far as hacking is concerned, so tomorrow, God forbid, if my account gets hacked or if somebody else's account gets hacked, how does one report this? Is it an offense? If yes, then where does one go to get it redressed?
It's an offense. Now, definitely, if you're talking about a social media account, then today there is a grievance redressal mechanism which the intermediary guidelines of 2021 itself outline. So you can escalate and go up to the 3 levels of grievance redressal which is provided. Like there is a grievance officer which every social media platform has to appoint, and you can raise the concern with them. In 15 days, if they do not take action, then further you can escalate it to the 2nd level up to the 3 levels of grievance redressal. Now, you need to understand when you're talking of hacking, these are criminal offenses also. So simultaneously, you can approach the local police station. Again, you have to register a police complaint. It will be converted into an FIR, post your statement, and it will go in that process only. So you will never approach the cyber cell directly. The matter from the local police station will be forwarded based on the merits.
Yes, ma'am. Now, ma'am, coming to the information technology, unfortunately, in India, especially in the state of Rajasthan, most of the police stations are not well equipped. They don't have a designated cyber cell. Now, where does one go if there is no information, if the SHO has no clue about information technology, or if he refuses to lodge an FIR? So, do we approach the higher authorities to get it, or in such cases, what is it?
How it happens is it's important for you to explain at a police complaint stage, but I have noticed in a lot of states apart from Maharashtra, it is difficult for an individual to genuinely file an FIR on their own in such matters. So you would have to potentially engage an advocate who will be able to explain the provisions to the police, bring them on the same page. So there, the importance of an advocate in states where the police is not so well versed with it is required. And yes, if the police still does not support you, you can, the divisional DCP and the next levels, you can escalate your matter to, or you can file a private complaint under 156(3).
Now, ma'am, coming to law students, I personally had pursued a course from the Asian School of Cyber Laws as a diploma in cyber laws. Any course that you would recommend for someone to identify his passion or interest in this field?
See, I would say don't just do a course and identify. It's like you study law school subjects. I'm sure all of you who have studied in law school, you realize the difference in practical practice in a particular area of law, and reading the textbook and theory is very different. So today you may enjoy, let's say, studying the CPC doesn't mean you're going to enjoy civil law practice. These two are two very different things. There is no correlation. Liking to study the Arbitration Act is not going to mean that you are going to succeed or you're going to be good at arbitration or you're going to enjoy it either. So it's important for you to have some amount of practical experience, and very importantly, experience everything. Never be blindsided that, oh, this is what I want to do. So one of the most important things I can share from my experiences, during law school, I interned in multiple domains. So I've even interned in arbitration, for that matter of fact. I've interned in shipping laws also. So I used to make it a point of interning during my 5 years of law school in almost all the subjects and specializations. And at the end of 5 years, I had a very clear idea of everything I didn't want to do. Now, once you have a clarity of what you definitely don't want to do, it's very easy for you to zero in what you genuinely enjoy. You just take up one thing and you keep doing that and you think you're going to like it. You have not experienced everything to really understand where your acumen lies, where your genuine passion lies, and what you're genuinely interested to pursue for a lifetime.
Absolutely, ma'am. So to all of you who are watching this very closely, a very important point that ma'am made was that it is very important to use the elimination method first to understand what you don't like. And that can only happen when you do diverse range of internships in your 5 years or 3 years course. And then subsequently, when you filter down and realize that, okay, fine, this is what I don't like, and then you reach that specialization area. Now I'm coming to the COVID era that we are in, because it's the second year of the pandemic. Do you think that the cyber laws or the Information Technology Act has evolved, or do you think that it has stagnated to a point that the pandemic has to disappear for it to be implemented again? How has the whole atmosphere been as far as
hearings in Maharashtra? The hearings have been happening online with respect to all cybercrime matters. In other states, it would be difficult for me to comment because many of them do not have functioning courts also of the adjudicating officer. So yes, there has been a problem of implementation which has been there for the past 10 to 15 years in India with respect to actually setting up these courts, setting up their functionality and operations. That issue is definitely there. From a legislative perspective or development of the law perspective, there is a lot that is happening at the legislative end also. But again, due to the pandemic, things have slowed down, but that doesn't mean that they are not in the pipeline. So there are a lot of amendments, legislations already in the pipeline. Like the data protection law is in the pipeline, the intermediary guidelines of 2021 already enacted. There are certain amendments also to the act which are in lineup. So there are a lot of things that are happening. But yes, the pandemic has slowed down the pace of a lot of activities.
Absolutely, ma'am. So I think we've more or less reached the end of our segment. Anything that you wish to say towards the end to all the young lawyers and young law students who are watching this, who aspire to be, a lawyer who's specializing in cyber laws, ma'am? Any last piece of advice?
Don't aspire to be a lawyer specializing in cyber laws. Aspire to be a good lawyer, irrespective of whatever your specialization may be. You need to understand that if you're good at a particular subject, you will do well, the recognition and the money will follow. You need to genuinely be good at it. So just don't go thinking that you wish to specialize in something. Specialize in something you're genuinely good at, that you can genuinely dedicate yourself, and the rest of the things will any which case follow. If you're able to deliver successfully to your clients, it's bound to happen that you will gain recognition.
And one last question. I'm so sorry if we've taken a lot of time of yours, but I was too tempted to ask, but how safe is our data on social media platforms? Do you think that one has to be a little, there have to be some safeguards when we post our bank details on websites? And how does one cross-check what website is safe? If you could just elaborate something.
There's no way in today's times, how much ever people may say that, oh, you can cross-check a website, you can cross-check all these things. It's there's always room for doubt in these avenues. It's very important that, my suggestion would always be, if you're using internet banking, have a separate bank account, which, you don't keep too much funds in. The potential risk of losing money is always there. So always ensure that for net banking, especially where you're sharing these details and credentials on multiple platforms, keep the minimum amount of money as much required for your transactions. And sharing data on social media, definitely you're sharing it with the whole world today. So the potential risks of that are also tremendous. So starting from, there are multiple physical cases of crimes, like there have been cases of murders, there have been cases of kidnappings, a lot of things that have actually been linked to data collection that has happened by criminals using social media. So a lot of these things are tracing back to these, you could say, platforms. So it's very important for you to be sensible. Now, you can't blame a platform. That's simply, you could say, a stage provided to you to interact with other people. What you do, how you interact, and how much you share, that is purely left to you. So the risk is yours when you are on these platforms. You can never blame a platform for not having a safe environment, especially if you have overshared content.
Well, thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable insights. I hope to see cyber laws as a subject which is mandatory in all law schools as a compulsory subject rather than being elective, so that people are aware of what cyber laws are, where are the forums available, what are the remedies like. So thank you so much, ma'am, once again to all the viewers who are watching. Our email is mentioned on the channel, so feel free to write to us. We'll be more than happy to forward the same to our amicus for today's session. And stay tuned. Next episode is on its way. A big thank you to ma'am. Your presence has made all the difference. Really means a lot to me and my entire team. And wish you all the success in life. It's goodbye for now, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.